Thank you, boys and girls, for your coming in the classroom quietly. We're going to be talking about doing a unit on World War II. Now, most people believe that World War II started in 1939, but actually there were events that led up to World War II, and we're going to talk about some of those. World War I was called the war to end all wars. Never did they think that this would ever happen again, where the whole world would be involved in conflict again. But in 1933, a man by the name of Adolf Hitler was elected as the Chancellor of Germany, and he was a member of the Nazi Party. Now, the Nazi Party was formed right after World War I ended, and it especially became popular after the Great Depression, which you've studied about. And so the main event that began World War II was on September 1st, 1939. Hitler invaded Poland. He had also, though, a year earlier, in March of 1938, he had invaded the country of Austria, and he just took it over. He had annexed it into Germany. He said, Austrians are now Germans. Okay, so he was looking for land, he was looking for power. So on September 1st of 1939, he marched into Poland. Here's a picture of the German troops marching through Poland. It took 27 days, and he took over the entire country. When we study about World War II, it is a very somber time. It's not a matter of where people are fascinated by war, because it is the most deadliest conflict in the history of mankind. It killed 70 million people, and they were not mostly soldiers. More civilians were killed during World War II, just regular people, than any other war to date, before or after. So we're going to divide this, I'll get questions in just a minute. We're going to divide this presentation into two sections. We're going to talk about what was happening out inside of Germany, and then we're going to talk about what happened outside of Germany. In 1933, Adolf Hitler, he was a very charismatic leader. People loved him. They liked what he said. He said what the people wanted to hear. If you remember from your study of the Great Depression, there was very little food and there were very few jobs. Here in our country, only 1 out of every 4 males had a job that were old enough to work. Only 1 out of every 4. And the same thing was taking place in Germany. Under his leadership, that decreased to 3 out of every 4 people had a job. So people were like, hey, Hitler's doing a good job. They were following him. The Nazi Party, like I said, was formed from disgruntled workers after soldiers, after World War I. They were angry that Germany had admitted to defeat and had signed the treaty to stop World War I while they were in prison. So that's where the Nazi Party came from. So Hitler became dictator of Germany in 1933. Hitler belonged to the Nazi Party, and he was instrumental in the party's adoption of this symbol, which is called the hooked cross, and it became known as a swastika. And it was a symbol for simply terrorizing terror of power. The Nazi Party was the absolute power in Germany. They controlled the police force, they controlled all forms of government and all forms of power. Now, Hitler was obsessed with race and purity. He believed that only Aryans, people with blonde hair and blue eyes, were the pure race. And everyone else were impure. He was also very anti-Semitic, which means he hated people of Jewish descent. There's lots of theories out there you can read as you go through high school as to why that is true. We're not going to go into those. But he hated everyone of Jewish descent. So in 1933, he opened up his first concentration camp, and where he started sending what he called undesirables. Now, he just didn't hate Jews. He hated gypsies, people of the religion Jehovah's Witnesses were targeted, anyone who was a homosexual, any person who had a physical or mental disability. You know how when children are disabled and they're put into homes because their parents just can't take care of them? he sent them, he cleaned out all those homes like that and sent them to concentration camps. Do you think that they survived very long?
Yeah.
No, they didn't. And anyone who went against his ideals, he eliminated them completely. So this is the master race. This was what he felt. This is his schematic. He would say, if you have a pure Aryan and a pure Aryan have a baby, they will be a pure race. Anybody else is illegal. He said that he did it for the need for space, and also so the people would stop having children with disabilities. But no, it was not. It was a very evil plan. He passed the Nuremberg laws, which made it illegal. If you were dating someone, if you were a Jewish person and you were dating someone who was not a Jew, you could be put to death. Okay? This man was serious. And people just followed along what he said. Okay?
Can I jump in?
Yes.
One of the reasons that most of the people followed along with what he said was before the Nazi Party took over, and the Nazi Party was a political party like Republicans and Democrats and the Green Party and all those other parties. Germany was being punished for what they did in World War I. Okay? So Germany got split up. The country of Germany got split up, and they took a lot of land from the Germans. And the Germans also had to pay a lot of fines. So the German people as a whole were upset they were being punished by all the other countries around them simply because they lost the war. It was how they were feeling. And so when someone like Hitler came along and had a lot of great ideas for the country, and they were really great ideas for the country, they were excited about it. And so the people of Germany were thinking that everything was going great, and they didn't realize the bad things that Hitler was doing behind the scenes. They were being lied to by the Nazi Party. So there was this great, let me show you what I look like here, and there was a lot of things they were doing behind the curtain, so to speak. So that's the reason why it was easy for Hitler to get away with a lot of the things he was getting away with.
And to piggyback on that, that's exactly right. He would, it's like that, you ever heard that illustration of where you put a frog in a pan of hot water, it's going to immediately jump out? But if you put a frog in a pan of cold water and you slowly turn the heat up little bit by little bit, the frog will let you cook it to death. That's true, this way. He just introduced things very slowly and subtly, and the German people, even though most of them didn't know what was going on, a lot of them did. Because, remember, 1 out of every 4 people working, this man comes into power, now suddenly there's all these jobs, there's all these promises he's making, he's getting results with what he's doing, and they're like, well, maybe it's not that bad. So, and these other atrocities have come along where the citizens have allowed because they're saying, well, maybe he's right, because look at all the results that he's getting.
Right, and when he sent people to the concentration camps, they actually made videos of the Jewish people having parties, working, the women being able to knit and sew, the children playing games, all this nice food that they were fed, and they showed those videos to the German people. So the German people were like, oh, everything's going great over there. But it was all a lie.
It was called propaganda. Yeah. In fact, they brought in the Red Cross. The Red Cross are like, we demand to see what's going on in the concentration camps. And they're like, okay. And so they knew that they were coming, and they made everything wonderful that day. That day they had food.